Dímelo mi gente, Marcucci here again in another video, and today we're going to be talking about the state of Solana in Q2 2025. This is a report from Messari from Matthew Nate. I suggest everyone go read this. This is super important, especially if you are a fan of Solana. You know, in this channel, I love to, see both sides of the story. Obviously, there's so much bullishness happening in Solana, and there's some negatives that we will also be going over. But yeah, really great report, really amazing, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So let's just start with the key insights. So Solana's DeFi TVL has increased 30.4% quarter over quarter to $8.6 billion. And as you remember, Ethereum is obviously number one in terms of TVL, but Solana is slowly creeping up, very slowly, but it's creeping up. Camino grew 33.9% quarter over quarter to maintain its lead in DeFi TVL by USD. The application revenue capture ratio is the chain GDP divided by real economic value grew from 126.5% to 211.6%. And real economic value is defined as the sum of paid transaction fees, priority fees, and MEV paid to validators. Real world assets have grown tremendously on Solana. It grew 23.9% quarter to quarter to 390.6 million. Ondo financed USDY and OUSG were the two largest assets with 175.2 million and 79.6 million respectively. Ansys introduced Alpenglow, that we've talked about Alpenglow in a couple of our videos already, and a complete overhaul to Solana's consensus mechanism. The upgrade is projected to dramatically reduce finality latency from roughly 2.8 seconds to 100 to 150 milliseconds, which is super amazing. And the Rex Osprey Solana staking ETF went live in June. This is the first staking crypto ETF to be approved in the United States. So congratulations to Solana for being one of the first ETFs, or if not the first ETF to be approved. And if you do not know what Solana is and you're new to the channel and everything, we have a really basic tip. So it is Solana. Solana is an integrated open source layer 1 network with the goal of synchronizing global information at the speed of light. Solana optimizes the increased bandwidth and reducing latency. So yeah, basically what it is in a little bit of a nutshell. So if you want to keep reading it anyways, we're gonna head over to the key metrics. And the first one I want to talk about is, the circulating market cap. It has increased tremendously from Q2 last year to Q2 this year. I will say though, obviously in Q4 last year was, everything with the elections and everything was hot, booming. It was really hot. But since then has slowed down a little bit, but it's picking back up. And I think, everything in crypto is going to keep increasing exponentially. So the prices that we see now are not going to be the same ones we see 5 to 10 years from now. So hopefully Solana has that, keeps the market cap keeps increasing. So real economic value, also a huge positive. It is up a little bit from last year. So last year was 263 million to 272 million. But in Q4 and Q1, it was so high, and we obviously know what was happening at those times. Average daily payers, they have 3.9 million, which is less from the previous 2 quarters, but from the past year it was 199.6 thousand. So really good there. Average transaction fee is always going to be relatively low on Solana. The past quarter did increase, and we'll get over that in a little bit, but since then has gone down tremendously, over 71% down, and it's back down to 0.01, which is really great. Active validators, they have gone down, but hopefully with the new updates that are happening on Solana, it's going to benefit the smaller validators, right? Right now, all the big validators, and it takes a lot of money to be a validator in Solana. Hopefully that changes sometime soon, but they have dropped down to 1,058. Chain GDP, 576 million. Total DeFi, we talked about it already, and average daily DEX volume is $2.5 billion. And the stablecoin market cap has increased as well. It's at 10.3 billion compared to last year at 3.1 billion. From Q1, it is down, but so is every single other crypto. Maybe not hyperliquid, but every other crypto has gone down from the previous 2 quarters. But it looks like things are picking back up. So what I want to go over here is the total RWA value, which that has only increase, right? Since last year, it has increased 148% quarter over quarter, then 28%, then 81%, and now this quarter 23.90%. So really amazing. What we want to see. I will say though, the ecosystem projects that have been funded have gone tremendously down, and I don't know why. Obviously I kind of have an idea, and that's because a lot of people have stopped either funding, or they're like more, they're holding back a little bit compared to the previous years. But I think once rate cuts down in September, hopefully if the rates do come down in September, October, we're going to be seeing more money flow into these projects, and hopefully we're going to see more ecosystem projects funded. Right now they only had 12, which is one more than the previous quarter, but still, now we want to see. And as well, I want to talk about the average daily NFT volume. So NFTs get a lot of bad rep, and I don't know why, because some were good, some were bad. I'm not gonna say no, but at least for Solana, Tolly has been talking about. Tolly's a big troll, so take what it is with a grain of salt. But I do know some people on the Solana team have kind of talk negatively about NFTs, and I think NFTs are a really big part of Solana. So hopefully NFT volumes come up a little bit. I don't know how to solve that, but yeah, just wanted to make mention. It's only at 1 million in Q2 compared to 3.4 million in Q2 2024. So yeah, and this is an incomplete map of the whole Solana ecosystem, and you can see they have so many stuff. They have DeFi, gaming, NFT infrastructure, DePIN, which is, we're gonna talk about that, payments too, analytics, scaling, oracles, AI agents. They have so much happening on the Solana ecosystem, and that's what we want to see. And that's why they have so much money revenue. So chain GDP on Solana total app revenue fell 44.2% quarter over quarter to 576.4 million. But I will say though, that is still higher than a lot of other chains and networks. So Pump That Fund led the way, then Axiom, Jupiter, Phantom, Photon, Trojan, and others too. Others had 127 million. So they all kind of decreased, but I'm not going to talk about much of the decrease, because if we take into account, January, when all the big NFTs were dropping, nations were dropping their meme coins, right? I'm not going to take this too much into account. So from where we were a year ago to where we are now, we have seen, some increase. So that is always positive. And DeFi too, DeFi keeps on growing. Camino has 2.1 billion in TVL, Radium 2, Jupiter, Drift, Meteora. We're seeing so much growth that is really encouraging. And Camino maintains his lead in TVL, ending with 2.1 million and a market share of 25%, with its TVL growing 33.9% quarter over quarter. They also launched Camino Lend version 2 in May 2025, and within 3 weeks it surpassed 200 million deposits with over 80 million in loans. So that is amazing. That is really amazing. Radium reclaimed the second spot, with its TVL increasing 53.5% quarter over quarter to 1.8 billion and a 21.1% market share. And Jupiter fell to third spot, though its TVL increased 13.2% quarter over quarter, ending with 1.6 billion and a 19.4% market share. So they're all kind of like super together, right? It's like no one has a huge 50% lead or like a 75% lead. And that's good, because all of them are going to keep launching products to, become the best they could be. So Solana average daily spot DEX volume fell 45.4% quarter over quarter to 2.5 billion. And here, during the launch of the president's meme coin, it was 36 billion in volume in just January 19th during that time. So yeah, I don't know when something like that is going to happen. It was really crazy times, but eventually a lot of the world and nations and people and whoever, they're going to have these coins on chain, whether it's Solana, Ethereum, Base, wherever it is, and we're going to see some of that craze again. So yeah, right now it doesn't look like the best, but in crypto, I think I saw earlier today that Google has like hit like an all-time high recently in crypto searches. So yeah, we might be at the all-time high. I don't know, but I personally don't think so. So I want to talk about this: Launchpad Wars and Pump Launch. Over the quarter, many teams launched competitors to pump fund, while most failed to capture any meaningful market share for longer than a week. At the end of the quarter, Launchpad quickly began gaining momentum and fully overtook pump funds as the market leader during the second week of July. This coincided with Pump's ICO that occurred on July 12, 2025. The team sold 150 billion tokens at a price of 0.004, representing a fully diluted valuation of $4 billion and a raise of $600 million. And the token began trading on July 14th. So yeah, people said pump fund is dead. I don't think so. I personally don't think so, but you know, you can debate with me in the comment section down below. I'm more than happy to debate that. So stablecoins. On the stablecoin market cap on Solana fell 17.4% quarter-over-quarter to 10.3 billion, ranking it third among networks. The first one is definitely Ethereum, and then the second one is probably Tron. But don't quote me on that. Much of this growth this year came after the president's token launch on January 17th, which brought an influx of liquidity to Solana and resulted in various highly liquid pairs among USDC. The sustained increase in stablecoin market cap indicated much of the new capital remained on the network. USDC ended the quarter with a market cap of 7.2 billion after falling 25.2% quarter-over-quarter with a 69.5% market share. USDT was the second largest stablecoin on Solana by the end of Q2 2025 with 2.3 billion. Nothing changed in the quarter. It was a 0% change and a 22.4 market share, and First Digital's USD claimed the third spot by ending with the quarter with 303.6 million, 192% increase. So yeah, I think stablecoins and RWA is the last leg to kind of like bridge Ethereum and Solana get to, you know, kind of where Ethereum is. I don't know if that's going to happen personally, but yeah, I think RWA and stablecoins are kind of like the last bridge. So Solana's total RWA value ended Q2 at 390 million, up 124% year to date. So that is super impressive. And we can see here the different values is USDY, OUSG, Accred, Build, Benji, T-Build, and others. And I want to say, before I forget, there is one. So this Build. So Build is a tokenized US dollar money market fund developed by BlackRock, holding cash and short-term US treasuries. Initially launched on Ethereum in March 2024, it expanded to Solana in March 2025, marking one of the first major institutional RWA deployers on the network. As of July 2025, Build was the fourth largest yield-bearing RWA and market cap on Solana, with only 3 holders and a market cap of 25.2 million. And I clicked here, and what's great about, you know, the blockchain is that you can see who they are or who the owners are, or at least their wallets. And it's really only 2 owners, because one has 81% and then the other one has 18%, and there's one that has 1 cent. So I don't know if this is just like a deploy wallet or whatever it is, but really it's concentrated into 2. And I want to know if this is just BlackRock or Build or whoever it may be just holding the assets for the clients there, and then that's how they distribute the money. I have to look more at Builds, but yeah, really funny that the 4th largest yield-bearing RWA by market cap on Solana just has 3 holders, which makes me to believe, you know, some of that money is, you know, tied to other different people. But I do want to talk about a little bit of USDY, just because as of July 2025, USDY is the largest yield-bearing RWA market cap on Solana with 6,978 holders and a market cap of $175 million. So yeah, this makes more sense than just 3 holders with 25 million, but that's just me. And then OUSG was the second largest yield bearing with only 7 holders and a market cap of 79 million. So I have to check, really. I want to understand why there's that little holders Obviously, I know this for accredited investors, and there's probably not that many accredited investors that are into crypto, and let alone Solana, and let alone something like this. So, yeah, that's the only thing I could think of, really. We've already talked about this, all the other events, but R3 is a UK-based company behind Coda, a permissioned distributed ledger technology platform for capital markets, payments, and CBDC projects, announced their support for Solana. X stocks that they're offered by Backed, and they had like a partnership with Kraken where you could buy different stocks on chain, right? The number one, I think it's still SPY or XPY. X, which is the S&P 500 X stock, was the largest by value with 9,692 holders and a market cap of $6.9 million. I obviously expect these numbers to keep increasing, but yeah, only like 10,000 holders, and they're holding a lot of money. So how much would that be? Like 60 million per holder, maybe 60 or 6,000. I don't know. I can't do math right now, but it's one of those. And then Tesla or X stock was the second largest by value with 9,914 holders. And thank you for everyone that's watched the Maple Finance video. If you haven't seen it, I'll leave it in the description down below, but you should definitely see it. But Syrup's USDY is Maple Finance on-chain yield-bearing stablecoin. It launched in Solana on June 2025. So definitely check that out. Also, I do think this is for accredited investors only. But yeah, if it's not, I'll definitely let you guys know in the description down below. So let's talk about NFTs now. So Solana's average daily NFT volume fell 46.4% quarter over quarter. So, this is not good. And hopefully, something or someone does a good project that people want to invest and and I don't know, I think NFT communities, people make fun of them and I have in my past, but I don't know, I think NFTs are still a great part of crypto. So yeah, hopefully some NFTs come back to Solana. While average volume is down though, NFTs on Solana led in creator royalties. And that's probably because, there's not a many... there's some chains and users, but a lot of the money is still on Solana. So gaming, I do want to mention Shaga. So Shaga is a DePIN cloud gaming platform that transforms idle high-end gaming PCs into decentralized low-latency streaming networks. Released its white paper. So I believe in Shaga. Shaga definitely. I played tested myself, right? And what I did, and I played Star Atlas, I think it was. Yeah, I played Star Atlas. And it was like seamless. It was like deadass, like if I was playing on my PlayStation or my Xbox. So I think it was really, really great. And they also talk about Mixmob Racer 1 for the launch on iOS and Android as the world's first kart racing game built on Solana and has since outperformed mid-core benchmarks in virality, monetization, and retention. So that is great. That is amazing. That's what we want to see. Gaming, I thought gaming was gonna skyrocket in crypto, but from what I found, I don't know. I think there could be a potential Web3 game that is at the par of, I don't want to say Call of Duty or Roblox or Fortnite, but something at that level. But I don't know. It's just becoming so hard to become like a video game developer and then mix it with Web3. Like I think the mobile games are what's gonna hit home the most. But we will see. We will see. And in other consumer-related news, it was announced in May 2025 as Messari that Solana Mobile Seeker phone began shipping the first week of August 2025, and a lot of people have recently been getting their phone. And the phone will have a better camera, longer battery, and an internal hardware wallet built in collaboration with Soulflare. And the phone will have a 108 plus 32 MP camera. I probably said that wrong. 6.36 inch display and 128 gigabytes of storage with a 8 GB of memory. Gigabit. I don't know what this is either. The phone will also have a fingerprint scanner for extra security and 4 free months of Helium mobile coverage. So if you haven't got one yet, I haven't used one, but a lot of people have been talking about this one is better than the first one. So congratulations to the Solana team, to Totally, to everyone that have been working really, really hard with this one. If you want to send me one and I do a review on it, I wouldn't mind it. But yeah, I think and we saw it recently. I think Google app in Europe wanted to like ban crypto wallets that didn't require KYC, and then and then the same day they renounced what they were gonna say. So I don't know how easy it is to produce these phones, but hopefully we have more competition for Apple, Samsung, Google, or whatever it may be. Anyways, let's get to DePIN. And I always talk about DePIN. We talked a little bit about DePIN. You guys know Helium already. You guys know Heavy Mapper. You guys know Geo.net, IO. I didn't know this one. So Natix in May 2025, Natix partnered with Grab, a transportation, delivery, and financial service super app used primarily in Southeast Asia. Grab has successfully already built an AI-based map-making software stack offering fiat incentives for drivers to use cameras they have developed or with their smartphones. So that's pretty cool. I really enjoyed that a lot. And in terms of payments too, Fiserv, we've mentioned that a little bit, but payments and financial technology company Fiserv announced a strategic collaboration with Circle to advance stablecoin payment capacities for its clients. The partnership integrates Circle's USD infrastructure and Fiserv's vast global network, which includes thousands of financial institutions and millions of merchants locations. So that's pretty good. And then MoonPay acquired the stablecoin infrastructure Iron too for $175 million. And when everyone talks about, oh, we're in a bear market, we're bad time to invest, these companies are literally paying millions and millions and millions of dollars to acquire another company. I don't think they would be doing that in a bear market or a time where it's not good to invest. That's just me though. Those people are smarter than I am, obviously. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. Anyways, DeSCI or decentralized science, I really like this, especially because my dad is a doctor, my mom is a chemical engineer. Both really scientific. I didn't come from science. I never really liked science, but working at the veterinary hospital, I really enjoyed that part of medicine, and how much crypto I think can revolutionize science. And like it says here, like the funding, the publishing, the reviews, the access to Web3 models for like financing or like the monetization. I think the how do I say, the possibilities are endless, and I really like what they're doing. I really like this one. So Curetopia became the first bio DAO to launch on Solana, leveraging bio protocols. DeSCI Launchpad focused on addressing rare diseases. Curetopia raised 1.77 million via auctions across 1,000 participants, already using an AI-driven yeast-based drug screening. Curetopia identified multiple lead drug candidates for AARS2 deficiency. I don't know what this is, but it looks like it's a rare disease condition that is on its way to having a DeSCI native cure. So crypto is solving super rare cures. I think that is wonderful. I think that's amazing. Reading stuff like this and hearing stuff like this, hopefully it brings a smile to your face that stuff like this is possible. I don't know. It's just really, really amazing. So let's talk about growth. And we already talked about the ecosystem of platforms. So compared to 2023, at least there's more, but hopefully, there's more projects that are funded, hopefully. The amount too, this little amount for the projects, obviously, really hard time to, kind of start, building a project, but if there's a time, I think now is the time. So let's talk about usage. And Solana smacks everyone's behind when it comes to transactions, how much people are using them, and the transaction fee and everything. But non-vote transactions came in at 99 million, and daily vote transactions came at 261 million. So compared to previous months, transactions keep increasing, and even from last year, they keep increasing every single day, which is super impressive. And if you amount the transaction fees are way less, and they're still making a lot of money in revenue, they're just becoming more and more efficient by the applications, and I just think that is really amazing and incredible. Let's talk about also when I had a friend that we're talking about, oh, Solana's not decentralized, blah, blah. Solana's decentralization score per Nakamoto coefficient is 21. And, it's not the highest, definitely, but it's still not the lowest compared to other layer ones. So I think it's decentralized enough, and it grew 5%. It only grew by 1, but for those that do not know what Nakamoto coefficient is the minimum number of nodes needed to break liveness. The metric can also be measured across other dimensions important to the resilience of a validator's network, including distribution of stake by location, hosting providers, and clients. So this is the first time I kind of hear about this. They have like different countries hosting and the hosting data centers too. So yeah, that is interesting. Really hadn't thought about it like that, but I think that is pretty amazing. I don't want to talk about Agave and the updates, but at the time of writing, about 90% of validators are running v2.2 or later version, with about 16% of validators running the most recent release of v2.3. I do want to say though that obviously with the validators that they have been decreasing. Hopefully with the new updates are happening, they're going to keep increasing and we have more validators in the system. But I can't predict the future. Hopefully that's what I want to happen, but who knows? Anyways, a Q4, if in terms of SOL price, right, we are a little bit down from that, but I expect it to increase. Transaction fees, have gone up from Q3, not from Q2, but still making money in revenue and transaction fees and everything. So I think that's a positive. And the SOL ETF, like we said, the ticker, if you want to get into the SOL ETF, is SSK on June 27th, 2025. So it began trading July 2nd, 2025. The fund will invest a small amount of the ETF assets into Jiro Sol. This is the first staking crypto ETF to be approved in the United States. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you read this, please. Don't take my word for it. This is just my personal opinions. Definitely don't take my word for it. Read this yourself. Come up with your own conclusions. I'm not saying to invest in Solana, but I do think compared to the other chains, they're doing a lot of things right. Man, they're doing a lot of things right, and I think they're going to keep doing a lot of things right. I believe in the team, and I believe in the process. Anyways, really long video. Damn. If you stayed here for 27 minutes, I really appreciate you. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.